What's up, everybody, and welcome down to the Mac Cave. You found your way to Mac Cave Gaming, and it is Members Monday, the time where we dedicate our live stream to our channel members. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all. I am excited to talk about our topic tonight because it's basically the beginning of a dream come true for really any retro gamer. And tonight, that topic is talking about what many of us have started calling the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, and it got a major boost of momentum with the release of the Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. And man, it is just... I saw it over the weekend, and I got some things to talk about. We're going to keep it spoiler-free as far as the plot and things like that. So, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, I know it just came out this past weekend and everything, so things are still pretty fresh, and people haven't really had a chance yet to all go out to the theaters and check it out. But there are still a bunch of things that we can talk about that are going to be spoiler-free. And we're going to talk about the direction that I think that this cinematic universe, this Nintendo cinematic universe, the direction that I think it's going. So, but I want to hear from all of you guys as well, your thoughts on all of this as we go tonight. Let me say hello to the chat, everybody that's here so far. Alan, what's up? Black Dragon is here. Brian, good to see you, dude. Nightbot's here. Good to see you, Nightbot. Trippin' Orc, let's go. Sir Blue Wolf, let's go. Good to see all you guys here. Trippin' Orc, good to see you guys. All I've heard is fans love it, critics hate it. Sounds about right. It seems like any movie that's actually good these days, the critics say it's bad and the fans say it's good. There's Nemesis showing up. I love it. I love it. But guys, let me tell you, it's I'll say right off the bat, Super Mario Galaxy movie, 100% worth seeing. It's a really fun sequel to that first movie. It expands on everything, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a great family outing. So, you know, it's good for everybody. There's something in that movie for everybody. The kids, and especially the adults that grew up with the franchise of Super Mario Brothers and even more. So we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of it here tonight. So to do that, we're going to head over to a different screen here. We're going to set the stage here. We're talking about the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and we are talking about the Nintendo Cinematic Universe that is in the works. And I am really, really excited for the direction that this might be going in, but I think there are some hints and pieces to the puzzle that are present in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. The thing I can't wait for is my second watch of the movie, because I want to be able to look at all the stuff happening in the background and figure out what all those Easter eggs are and where they're hinting at where everything can possibly go. It's going to be fun, guys. So I know I saw already in chat some people haven't seen the movie yet. I'm not going to spoil things for the plot of this movie. There's some things that you're going to know because of the trailers and what Nintendo has revealed already. And that's really the portion of it that I will speak on. But outside of that, I want to talk about this whole thing as a whole altogether. Oh, you haven't seen the first one yet? Oh, dude, yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, that's got to be streaming on something at this point. It's one of those movies that even the first movie got a bit of a mixed response. Overall, though, I think people really enjoyed it. I grew up with, you know, getting that live action movie in, what was it, 92? 93? I forget what year that came out. 92 or 93. The live action Super Mario Brothers movie. And man, I mean, I still enjoy that movie because I grew up with it. So there's that nostalgia factor to it. But look, I'm not blind to the fact that the movie itself it's hot garbage, and it makes a lot of, there's like no sense to that movie, but it's still fun and I enjoy it. I even showed that movie to my kids and they liked it. So I'm really curious as they get older, what will they think about that movie? But now they have their own set of movies, and Nintendo they partnered with Illumination. They make those Minions movies and Despicable Me and all that stuff. I like their animation style, and I think it works really well for these Nintendo characters. And as they start to expand on all of this, there's a lot of different possibilities. 1993, thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate it. I knew it was somewhere right there in the early 90s. I was like, what year was it exactly? Man, think about that. That came out... that Super Mario Brothers live action movie came out the same year as Jurassic Park. That's how much variety we had in the theaters, everybody. Bob Hoskins drunk off his arse and Linguizamo not really knowing what's going on. Oh my god. I think oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Who played Bowser in the Mario movie? He played the villain in Speed. He was in Waterworld. Why am I having such a huge brain fart? Huge actor. My God, I can't think straight right now. But I think he had it wiped. Dennis Hopper, thank you so much, Dennis Hopper. I think if I remember correctly, I think he had that movie wiped from his lineup of films that he was in. Like it's not listed or something. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I remember hearing a story about that. It's pretty funny that somebody would even go about that route. Dennis Hopper did it to get his kids some shoes or something like that. I mean, listen, this was the early 90s, right? Super Mario Brothers was huge. Not only did we have the original game and all that, Nintendo becoming so big, we were having all those sequels, and then we were on our way towards the Super Nintendo, and it was a wild time for that franchise. It was huge. So the fact that Nintendo trusted a film company to make a movie based off of their IP, and then Nintendo learned that, oh my God, we made a mistake, and that's why it took so long, everybody, for us to get another Nintendo-related movie because of that. But yeah, it was something back then. But we got what we got, and I was pretty excited to see it either way. But now seeing this new version in the animated style, which I think works really well for it, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see where this goes. I have a good stream. Just came to say hello. Hey, do your thing, man. May the force be with you. Thank you so much for stopping by, Wolf. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you. The couple that directed the 93 movie were damn weird. I gotta find some... there's got to be some decent behind-the-scenes documentaries and stuff like that, and behind-the-scenes footage for that. I haven't looked in a long time for anything like that. I did pick up... it ended up being an Australian copy of the movie because I couldn't there's no US release on Blu-ray for that 93 Super Mario Brothers movie. So I picked up a Blu-ray from Australia, and it plays perfectly fine. It doesn't have any region issues or anything, and it looks great. It's cleaned up real nice. I don't remember if there's any bonus features on there. I know it has the alternate ending as part of the deleted scenes, because it was supposed to, it had a commentary thing talking about the ending, because it was supposed to lead into a sequel that obviously never happened. But I got to see if there was any other bonus features on that. I didn't dive into it too heavily when I picked it up. But having this new Nintendo universe with Super Mario as the main star of it. So if you look at this, very similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Mario's starting it off, much like Iron Man started off the MCU, right? So Mario's our Iron Man in this cinematic universe, right? And then we're going to start to branch off from there with all of these different characters and worlds that really branched off of Super Mario franchise. Super Mario was the biggest franchise in Nintendo's history and probably still is to this day. And we got so many other things because of the success of Super Mario Brothers. And now we're building off of that for this world. So, Super Mario Galaxy, which shares the name of the game, Super Mario Galaxy, which came out on the Wii, and there was a sequel to it as well. With that said, and we see characters in the trailers that are from that game. The story of this movie, and again, I'm not going to spoil things, but the story of this movie is heavily based off of the story of that game, of Super Mario Galaxy. But there are a lot of things changed. So if you know that game very well, you're going to get all of the wonderful references that happen throughout the movie, but go into it knowing you're not going to get that exact same story. There's alterations to it, and that it makes sense because they're pushing forward in a direction to bring all this stuff together. The game is its own contained story, but this is expanding into other galaxies. There's all these different worlds, and that was one of the really fun things about that game, was that you were bouncing around through different worlds, through different galaxies. And it was such a weird way of playing Mario. It's a 3D Super Mario game, but you're on these like orbs and you're running around them like literally around, and it's such a weird way to play. Let's go. Could you imagine they bring Mortal Kombat into this? Speaking of that, we have the sequel to Mortal Kombat coming out really soon, guys. We right now are in a really good time for the world of video games making their way into TV shows and movies. It's really fun. And when I said earlier that this particular one is like the start of a dream come true, it really is, because this is the stuff as a kid I wanted to see this happen. And we had things along the way. We had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, the cartoon that it was half live action, half animation. We had Captain Lou Albano playing Super Mario, and then on Fridays we'd have the Legend of Zelda series. I have that on DVD, and I would look forward to that every week. What's up, Ellen? Hello there. And we had those cartoons, and then eventually advanced into the Super Mario Brothers 3 show, and then down the road we got a show, Captain N, the Game Master. Man, I loved that show, and I hope something happens with that along the way. I think with the NCU, I think it's very possible that could happen. It's the biggest doubt that I have of that ever happening, but it's my ultimate hope, is that we somehow get to Captain N and we find out this is the game world, Videoland and all that. So I think that would be super fun. But I have some ideas of where I think Nintendo and Illumination are going with this. So, like I was saying, Mario Galaxy the movie is primarily based on the Mario Galaxy game. That's our core. That's our starting place, which brings us characters like Princess Rosalina, and we get all those little star-looking characters, the Lumas, which you have to you meet all of them throughout the game, and you're getting all those little star bits and stuff throughout. All that stuff is incorporated into this. In fact, we met one of those Lumas in the first Super Mario movie. It was a blue Luma captured by Bowser, and when Luigi was captured in the first movie, he meets them when they're in these like hanging little cages, and this little Luma was the funniest little character. Looks like it's as happy as could be, but is saying some of the most morbid and depressing things. It's a really funny character in that first movie. So we get the return of the Lumas. We find out where they're from. We meet Princess Rosalina and learn her story. And then we're going to start to learn the backstory of other characters. Another character that came into play because we saw the end credit scene of the first movie is we find out that Yoshi comes into play here, and he is in the movie and joins the crew. And much like the video games, it kind of just happens with, not a ton of explanation, or there is explanation, but it's not, it's kind of just like, hey, and now this is happening, just like a video game would. And there's even a very self-aware joke that happens in the movie that pokes fun at that. So these movies play out very much like a video game would. You're going from quest to quest, you're going from world to world, and there's reasons to get from point A to point B, and then you're on to the next thing. These movies work like a video game, which is perfect because that's what all of this is based on. And that's some of the complaints that I've been hearing from critics, is that they feel like the story doesn't make any sense, or they're rushing things or something. They're really upset about how the story is paced. But as a gamer, I'm watching all this play out and I'm keeping up with it with no problem whatsoever. I think there was more than enough explanation with everything. In fact, I would even say this sequel has the story pacing at a better pace than the first movie did. The first Super Mario Brothers movie, I felt like at a point where the action was getting ready to go, it felt like they jumped forward a little too fast. It was just kind of like, and now we have the group and go. And there was like no this is when Mario meets Princess Peach for the first time, and I felt like it just kind of rushed from that moment on just to get to the action and get everything moving. But I didn't feel like that in this sequel. I think this one was paced very well. And I think they did a good job telling this story. But again, I'm not going to go deep into the story plot lines. I don't want to spoil it for anybody because I want you guys to go see it for yourself and check this out, because I want these movies, one, to be successful, and two, I want people to be able to enjoy it. I do want to tell a little side story about this. About when I went to go see this. So I took the family to go see this movie over the weekend, and we went to a daytime show. So, you know, that's usually when me and the kids and my wife go to the movies. That's usually when we can. It's usually like early in the day, right? So I'm not expecting a crowd or anything like that. Up until the point that we sat down, even looking at the app where we got the tickets, we were the only people in that showing of the movie. But then a few more people came in like last minute as the movie was starting. So we got some people in the audience. But what happened at the movie was their system in that theater room was broken. And I come from a custom home theater background. So immediately, this is like they get the trailers going. They had the first like commercial stuff going on before even the trailers started, and I'm already hearing it. I'm like, these speakers aren't working. I'm like, we're getting only center channel. There's no front, left, and right, and there's hardly any rear speakers happening. I'm like, something's broken. Then it gets to the trailers, and the trailers are all voice, no music, no accompanying audio with it. I'm like, it's definitely broken. I'm like, I don't know if they're about to switch systems when the movie kicks in, but I'm like, if this happens and the movie starts, I have to go tell someone. So if the movie finally starts and I'm listening, I'm like, that's incredibly bad. Like, there's no music. We're getting all voice, and it was really low. So I got up. It's the beginning of the movie. I'm like, there's only going to be so much that I miss here. And so I go and I let them know. I said, hey, theater room 8, I think we were in. I said, the only speaker that's working is the center channel. We've got no action. We have no music. The movie's not working. So they got on the walkie-talkie, called their tech guys. They were there almost immediately. And then I heard it raise up, and it fixed. It wasn't great, but they fixed it enough. And I even heard someone like off in the background, like, hey, is it better? And somebody's like, yeah. And then they whatever they did, they fixed it, or as much as they were willing to fix it. It still didn't sound great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie a second time, which may not be in the theaters. There's probably be in my own home theater, and I'm going to hear this movie at full tilt and crank up the whole system. But I had to go out and fix it for everybody else. Nobody else was doing anything. I gave it a moment. I was like, nope, I'm going to go take care of this. We got to get this fixed because I want to hear the movie. It's so expensive to go to the movies. I want to have at least a good experience, because a big thing in this movie is the soundtrack. And if you're missing the soundtrack, oh my God, you're missing almost like a whole character of the whole thing. The music cues are so good in both of these movies. They're all throwbacks to the video games, and you can hear the cues from everything and how it's like, it's the exact music, and then there's adaptations of it, but it's so well done. The composer of all of this did such an amazing job. The soundtrack was just so well done. I'm really happy with what they did with it, because it brings all of that nostalgia, everything that you remember from the sound cues of these video games. It's there. It's in the movies, and it's handled so well. So that's one of my most favorite things about both of these films is the soundtrack. But I wanted to share that story about my experience seeing it at the movies. I was like, oh my God, it's like we spend all this money, and then we have to go tell somebody to go fix their system. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you, dude. Brian says, I'd love to have a home theater setup. So costly. You know what I tell people with the home theater setups? Get it piece by piece. Don't go crazy. You don't have to go crazy. So much of this stuff can sound and look good, like nowadays, like amazingly. You don't have to break the bank for it, but get it piece by piece. Get a surround sound receiver, and then start adding your speakers. You don't have to go full tilt 7.1 or even Atmos or anything right off the bat. Start with 2-channel, and then get 3.1, and get to work your way to 5.1. All that stuff. Get a good subwoofer, though. Get a decent subwoofer. You want that bass to be nice and clear, and you want to feel the bass. You don't want to hear the bass. You want to feel it. But do it piece by piece. You can do it, and you don't have to break the bank for it. So, throughout Super Mario Galaxy, there are references to so many other franchises within the Nintendo universe. And one of the characters was revealed by Nintendo themselves. They revealed him in the trailer. So I will talk about this character, but I wish Nintendo would have kept this a secret, because the reveal in the movie would have been such an amazing pop at the theater for audiences. It would have been a super cool reveal. And I feel like Nintendo really dropped the ball on this one, and they spoiled one of their best surprises in the whole thing. And that surprise was Fox McCloud from Star Fox. And his character was awesome in the movie. I'll just say that it was so incredible to see Fox in the movie in the style of this, and to see his ship. What was that called? The R-Wing? Is that? I'm not crazy big on Star Fox. I'm a newbie to the Star Fox franchise, but I'm pretty sure it's called the R-Wing, and it's so cool seeing Star Fox in this movie and how his character is handled, and what he does in this movie for the character development and the progression of the story. It's done really, really well. But here's the thing. The way we meet Fox McCloud in this, we find out that there's areas where there are starships landing and coming and going. It's a starport. Now you got to start thinking, okay, well, it's a starport, and what other franchises in the world of Nintendo deal with spaceships, galactic travel, all kinds of stuff, right? There's several possibilities. And there are some other ones that do get a bit of a reveal. And I gotta watch it the second time so I can see what's going on in the background to see if it's already in there, because there's a lot of stuff I missed. There's a lot going on all at once, right? But one of the first franchises that comes to mind for me is Metroid. I'm like, we're here at a starport, right? So for me, in my opinion, that's a clear opening to bring in Samus and have her show up somewhere in this cinematic universe. To see her ship coming in for a landing at this would be just awesome. And I think the animation style of all this would work really well with her character, the design of the ship, her armor, all of it. I think it would work really, really well. So that's another franchise that I want to see brought into this. Now, we've already met in the prior movie. We know that Donkey Kong, the world of Donkey Kong, is in there. We met a bunch of the different Kong characters all in there, and I thought there was going to be a Donkey Kong movie before this Mario sequel. I'm pretty sure it's still coming down the pipeline, but I thought we would have had that first. But that's another set of characters that we already know is going to be a part of this. We now have the world of Star Fox is in there. We know that there is a live action Legend of Zelda movie in the works. And that's something we're going to pivot to that in a little bit, because I feel like there's still a possibility of that being a part of all of this. And I'll explain why when we pivot to Legend of Zelda. But that's one to keep in the back of our minds, right? And in the world of Nintendo, with all these characters coming together, there's a pretty specific set of games that comes to mind where all these characters are just coming together, right? And I have a bunch of them. Here's one of my favorites. Super Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube. I love this one, especially the adventure mode in this one. We've got, games like Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the Wii. We had Super Smash Bros. Wii U. And the latest one, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. And then there's, obviously, it all started back on the N64, but this is immediately the franchise I started thinking about. I'm like, are we heading towards Super Smash Bros? And I think that we are. Because that, for the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, if you want to go and compare this to Marvel, Super Smash Bros. Would be this universe's Infinity War. Its endgame. The big endgame moment, right? That's where I believe we're heading towards. And I think that would be incredible. In fact, I will say, I'm not going to say exactly what happened, but there is a very brief moment in this Mario Galaxy movie that you can't help but immediately think, oh, we're heading to Smash Bros. So there's stuff that they are hinting at in here, and I think it would be absolutely incredible. Think about the other characters that are in Smash Bros. There's the Pokemon characters. There's Mega Man. There's Ness from Earthbound. There's then they brought in guest characters. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog shows up in these Smash Bros. Games. Pac-Man. They even brought Solid Snake from Metal Gear into this franchise at a point. I think even Final Fantasy characters show up along the way. There are so many characters that appear in there. We had the little astronaut guys from Pikmin. We had obviously Fox McCloud and Star Fox characters show up, and then Legend of Zelda characters, and then all the Mario characters, Donkey Kong, Kirby. You got to have Kirby in this. It's to see Kirby will work so well in the illumination style, in that CG animation style. Kirby is going to look absolutely phenomenal. I guarantee it. They have to bring in Kirby. There's no way they can skip it. It would just be a crime if they didn't spoil it. Oh, yo, what's up, dude? Good to see you, Obsession. Guys, if you have not been over to Star Wars Obsession in a while, he did a watch-along, a pre-show, and then a watch-along of the 2 episodes of Maul, the latest Star Wars show. I really like both of those episodes. If you guys want to do a watch-along, go check out Star Wars Obsession's replay and do the watch-along with him. It's awesome. Really, really good show so far. Those first 2 episodes were solid. What about the Miis? Yeah, could you imagine they start to bring in little Mii characters and stuff? I mean, it's possible. They could do it. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. But there's so many directions this can go. And my feeling is that we are inevitably heading towards Smash Bros., which would be this universe's Infinity War. And I think they're already laying the groundwork for it with even just the reveal of Fox McCloud alone. I mean, when you see it in the movie, it makes perfect sense as to why they went in that direction for this movie. They have to be heading in the direction of bringing all these other characters in. Like I said, we've already seen Donkey Kong. We know that a Legend of Zelda movie's coming, although that is live action. We're going to talk about that. We already have Yoshi in here. There was stuff all throughout the rest of the Mario games as well. You see those, I forget what they were called, like those Islander characters from Mario Sunshine. They're in there. There's stuff from Mario Party. There's stuff from Super Mario Brothers 2, the North American version of Super Mario Brothers 2. We get characters introduced from there, so you're seeing like Shy Guys, and you see Wart, and you see like all these different characters. It's just insane. What would they call it? Star Fox or the Lilac Wars? Yeah, that's a good point. They could go in a couple of different directions. Could you imagine that like the villains from Star Fox cause some issues, and then like Fox McCloud recruits Mario and Luigi and Yoshi and whoever else, Donkey Kong, and they go help? That would be insane. There's so many different things they could do with this, but I really, really love that they're heading in this direction. I want a dark portrayal of Samus and her dealing with Metroids, as it's very space horror heavy, but we'll probably never get something of that level. Unfortunate, but I get it. You know what? If they do a standalone Metroid movie first, they could have a bit of that tone. I don't think they would go heavy-handed with it, especially if it is Illumination doing it. But they could do that in a standalone and then bring her into the rest of it to build it up, because that's what I want them to give these characters their time in their own movies, right? Very much like Marvel. Even Marvel skipped some stuff. Like, they didn't give every single character their dues. Nintendo has a huge opportunity to do that, but I would love a standalone Metroid movie. It would be fantastic. And Mega Man as well. Mega Man is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, Nintendo games, I should say, that playing it on Nintendo. I know Mega Man's been on other stuff now at this point, but Mega Man is fantastic, being made by Capcom, one of my favorite developers. And Mega Man would do so well in all of this. In fact, we had Mega Man years ago in the show I was talking about in Captain N, the Game Master. Mega Man was part of that show. So to bring him in, and then you have like villains like Dr. Wily and get all those different robots and everything. There's so many heroes and villains that can all come together. And I think it would work really, really well. I can't speak in depth about Sega, Nintendo, or Sony. Went from Atari 2600 straight to PC and have been building my own ever since. That's awesome, though. And tons of game franchises on PC as well that have come out over the years. So, yeah, you're definitely you're doing stuff right. You got this. Love the Mega Man Easter egg in RE3 Remake. Yes, it was so cool. They utilized the original like cover art style of Mega Man for that Easter egg in Resident Evil 3 Remake. It was so cool. I'm really happy that Capcom did that. Like, this is one of those movies, Super Mario Galaxy movie. I can't wait for this to come out on Blu-ray. I'm gonna get it as soon as I can get it, and to do a whole bunch of rewatches of it, because this is one of those movies that I'm gonna sit there not even paying attention to what's happening in the main story. I'm going to be watching the background of all of this to see if I can catch all the different Easter eggs, because there was so much going on in there. Now, with Donkey Kong, I don't know what the status is of the Donkey Kong movie. We're supposed to get a standalone movie, and I haven't heard anything one way or the other of whether or not that was still moving forward or if it got scrapped, because I thought we were getting Donkey Kong next and then the Super Mario sequel, but obviously that didn't happen. So I don't know where we're at the moment with Donkey Kong, but I hope that it's still happening, because I really love that character. And then we had Donkey Kong Bonanza came out on the Switch too, which I have. My kids played it. I have still yet to play it, so hey, that may become a future stream over here at the Mac Cave. But I still got to play Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I am looking forward to it, because I really, really love that character. The original Donkey Kong game in the arcades was one of my favorite games of all time, and then I had the port of it on the Atari 2600, and then got it on Nintendo, and then there was Donkey Kong Jr. that came out, and then what was it? Was it Donkey Kong 3 or Donkey Kong Jr. 3, where you do like math as your to help Donkey Kong Jr. climb? I think that was part 3. And then obviously Donkey Kong kept progressing in all these other games, got his own standalone games. Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo is just a huge achievement on that system, and then such a fan favorite. It expanded into DK64, and then obviously Smash Bros. And I'm going to keep coming back to that. Smash Brothers, when all these characters came together, Donkey Kong was one of my go-to characters in that. I would always go back and forth between playing as Donkey Kong or Link. I always loved playing as Link. And then every once in a while I'll play as Mario, because I like when he would turn into like the metal Mario and you had nobody could like hurt you for a little bit. Such a fun game. I'm terrible at fighting games. I'm awful at Smash Bros, but I always have fun playing it because it's just a super fun game. So hopefully Donkey Kong's movie is still on its way. I think there's a huge possibility now that we will get a Star Fox movie. And I think that in itself is a no-brainer for Nintendo and Illumination. The story's all there. You're making Star Wars. I mean, come on now. Just go for it. You don't even have to alter the story much at all to make it work in a movie. They've got all the storylines involving Fox McCloud's father. You've got that wolf villain. You've got Andros. You've got all these different characters and the Lilat Wars and all this stuff going on. Just move that into that CG animation and tell the story with the crazy cool ships and bring in all the side characters, all the co-pilots, all of them. Get Slippy Toad in there, get everybody in there. And it's going to work. It will just work. It is a no-brainer. It's a must as far as I'm concerned. We need a Star Fox movie, especially after what we got in Super Mario Galaxy. I'm telling you, it's awesome, guys. You got to check it out. Other things that come into the world of Smash Bros. That should work its way in, and probably one of the biggest franchises on the planet, Pokemon. Now, I don't know much about Pokemon. My kids know all about it. They love Pokemon. They do the trading cards and the games and the shows and everything. They're all into Pokemon. They know it all. My depth of knowledge with Pokemon really goes as far as for a little while I played Pokemon Go on my phone because I thought it was just kind of fun catching them on my phone. And then I haven't even done that in years. I've just took what I did on it, and now my daughter uses it. Like it's basically my account is now her account. But I really don't know much about it. Like, I've seen the movie Detective Pikachu, and I really enjoyed that movie. I thought that was a lot of fun. But that's about as far as my Pokemon knowledge goes. But we get to play as characters like Pikachu in Smash Bros. And I would play as Pikachu sometimes because he did all this, like, these electric abilities, and it was cool. It was just a very cool way of playing the game. And then there would be bonus items that would show up in Smash Bros. And other Pokemon would come out and help you in the fight. It was a lot of fun. So that's huge. And we already know how huge Pokemon is. So to bring that into like a movie combining with other characters, that's gonna fill the seats at the theaters. Like, hands down, because Pokemon is such a huge craze with not just kids, it's with adults as well. And these adults were once the kids that were there at the beginning of the Pokemon craze. And it just kept going. So that in itself, you bring that in, holy crap, that's going to be one of the biggest movies they put out there. You had Pokemon Yellow, Stadium, and Snap. We just got Snap on the N64. That was the one you really like, taking the pictures and everything of the Pokemon. That looked fun. I like that one. That's good. Some of us need a no-brainer, or should I have have no-brainer? I just want to see these characters get handled well, because I want all of this to be successful. I know plenty of people have their gripes with Nintendo. I understand them. I get it. I have my own gripes with Nintendo over the years, but that's not going to stop me from enjoying the characters and the stories that I grew up with and seeing these expand more. I just want to see it be successful. My son was really into Pokemon when he was young, 25 years ago. Yeah, Pokemon's been around for so long at this point, and that was such a huge piece of the Super Smash Bros. Game. So that has to be in there. And then we get to The Legend of Zelda. And I would say, next to Super Mario, the next biggest franchise under Nintendo's belt, I would say, is The Legend of Zelda. And we have a live action movie coming out. And being that it's live action, it being able to then mix in with what we have going on here, it gets tricky, right? And I have to agree, Brian. I think going live action was a mistake as well. I'm still going to go see it. I'm very excited for the movie, but taking an adventure like that, especially being based in a video game world, and going live action, you do then inevitably create limits for yourself, right? Don't get me wrong, you could do anything with special effects these days, right? But when you start to give it that bit of like grounding in reality, for lack of a better term, by putting it in live action, there are limits that there's going to be there, right? In animation, audiences will forgive a lot, right? I think audiences are more open to just the more extraordinary things happening in animation versus those things happening in live action. There's something, I don't know, maybe hardwired in our brains where we're seeing live action and something crazy happens and we're just like get pulled out for some reason. We're just like, oh, you can't do that. But I started hearing that a bunch of this movie is being filmed in locations where Lord of the Rings was filmed. And we know those areas are absolutely gorgeous. So I know the movie's going to look amazing. But excuse me, when you start building this world of all these Nintendo characters, right, which is potentially heading towards Smash Bros. Becoming a movie, you really can't leave out Link and Zelda, right? These characters they're just core characters. So that means that one of two things would have to happen. One, you take the live action Link and Zelda and just convert them to animated versions of them and bring them into this, right? Which could work, but it might be a little odd. Or they leave them out altogether in this Nintendo Cinematic Universe, in the animated stuff, which I think would be a crime. Like, they just can't do that, but that's a possibility. And I hope they don't go that route. Now, here's something that could potentially happen is, and again, this is such a long shot, and this is just me, my nerdy kid inside, just little stupid hopes that I have for things. I keep coming back to it. Captain N the Game Master was about a kid named Kevin who literally got sucked into his TV while playing Nintendo games, and he went into Videoland, where there were all the different worlds from these video game franchises, right? And that's how we started meeting all these different characters. And he meets Link and Zelda and Mega Man, and he meets freaking was it Richter Belmont or who did he meet in Captain N? One of the Belmonts is in that one. Kid Icarus is there. It's just like all these different characters, right? You could have a bit of a twist on that. And Link and Zelda from the live action end up in Videoland somehow, or it I don't know. They could do something where the live action versions get pulled into Videoland, and now we're seeing them animated. It could be cheesy. It may not work out so well, so I don't know. But it's just one of those thoughts I have where I'm like, oh man, I would just love to see all these characters come together like that. But having Link and Zelda be in live action, and then we're going to have whichever villain they go with, I'm assuming they're going to go with Ganondorf, and then take Ganondorf and he'll become Ganon the way we know him in the old games, where he looks like the big giant pig monster and everything. He's going to be CG. There's going to be CG animation with that character when they have him in there. You know, you can't leave out Ganon. It's just too huge. I just don't know how we're going to connect the dots, though, because we have two major Nintendo franchises, Super Mario and The Legend of Zelda, in two different forms of media. And it's going to be tricky to bring them together, because to have them so different, you know, very cartoony CG animation versus real, like, live action. Like, just think about it. This Legend of Zelda movie, when it comes out, a very good expectation to have is for that movie to look very reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings films. I would say more so the Hobbit films, the Hobbit trilogy that came out after the fact, you know, with the updated look and everything. expect it to look like that, right? That's what I'm thinking. Lord of the Rings with Zelda characters in it. And look, I'm for it. It works. That style, it's going to work. I think it's going to be amazing. But my big concern is, how do we bring this together after? Which brings me back to the point from before that Brian mentioned. It should have been animated. I have to agree. I think they should have just gone animated. If this other stuff wasn't happening, like if this whole Super Mario and Mario Galaxy and all these other things, Donkey Kong movie, all this stuff was not happening, then by all means, 100% go live action with The Legend of Zelda. But I'm just worried about the direction that we're going from there. The ones still we've seen of the live-action Link and Zelda appear to be Breath of the Wild versions. Perhaps they'll have different versions for a potential animated version down the road, like Super Nintendo or N64 version. That's interesting. They could do that. Now, that could be a bit confusing for, like, general audiences, but we would get it. As the gamers, we would get it. I didn't even think of that. That's actually a really good point. So if the live action movie is based primarily around the world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because these are different generations, right? It's not the same Link. It's not the same Zelda every time out in these games. We have a handful of direct sequels within the Zelda franchise, but for the most part, every game is a different generation. And it's a new Link. It's a new Zelda. And it's a new legend, right? So they could do that. Live action be Breath of the Wild, and then take like the Super Nintendo version, Link to the Past style of Link and Zelda. And, oh man, I think you're onto something, Jeff. I didn't even think of that. That could very much work, right? Because even like Breath of the Wild Link has a very different outfit than he does with the old, we know Link with the green tunic and all that stuff and the hat and all that. But Breath of the Wild, he's got that like blue outfit and everything. So, that could be the answer. That could be the answer right there. I think that could very much work. Have you watched A Hero's Purpose by Major Link? No, what is that? Here's the link for. Okay, I'll check that out later. Is that like a fan film or something like that? That would be awesome. That's why this community is the best. Everybody here is so freaking awesome. I love it. This is we're all like kind of work our way through this together. This is helping. You guys are helping me get through my concerns and everything. I love it. I'm pretty sure I've seen the actor in the green tunic. Oh, see, okay, so we could get both. Because you can get the green tunic in the game in Breath of the Wild, but at the same time, for the first Zelda movie, I think it would be disappointing not to see Link in the green tunic. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how we get there. It's a fan series, post Majora's Mask. Oh my god, I definitely got to watch that. That's another game too I got to replay soon. I've played through Ocarina of Time so many times, but Majora's Mask, I've only played like all the way through a handful of times. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I really enjoyed Majora's Mask. Very different experience from Ocarina to Majora. It's two wildly different games. But sometimes it can be a little tough going through that game. A lot of the puzzle stuff gets really tricky, and then with the day-night sequences and the time travel and all that stuff, it's an investment playing Majora's Mask, but still a phenomenal game. So let's say they take that path, and live action is one generation of Link and Zelda, and then the animated stuff is a different generation. So everything happening completely separate, which is perfectly fine. I mean, think of it this way. Take DC, for example, right? They had the DCEU, the live action movies, but their animated stuff was all, completely separate, right? So you're getting the same character, multiple versions of them, and they don't connect. So it's doable. It's completely doable. I think they would just have to explain it somehow, I guess. just something for general audiences overall to not be confused. Because I think this Legend of Zelda movie is going to be a massive release. And again, it's another one that I want it to be successful. I want it to do well because I want to see this grow. I think we're in an amazing time for movies based on video games, and not just movies, but television shows. Like, we got the Last of Us TV series, we get Resident Evil stuff. Say what you will about the Resident Evil movies and TV shows, but we're getting them, right? And we have a new Resident Evil movie on the way, which apparently got some good test screening reviews, so I am hopeful, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, that's besides the point. We're talking about Nintendo tonight. It's just, that's been my biggest concern so far, is how they're going to connect all of this, because this movie here, Super Mario Galaxy movie, showed how big this can be. If there's one thing this movie did well, it was showing the scale of what this is heading towards. It's the second just even that game, even the game Super Mario Galaxy, when you realize how many different worlds are part of this universe, the possibilities are almost endless. So this movie was really making a statement. To make this the follow-up, this was the sequel. We went from the isolated storyline with the Mushroom Kingdom and everything, with the first Mario movie, to jump immediately to Galaxy and to show this grand scale of possibility of what can be. That was making a statement. Nintendo was like, we're doing this, and we have so many worlds to explore, and hopefully everyone's here with us for it, because it's just going to keep moving and getting bigger and bigger. I've never finished Majora's Mask. Ocarina is one of my favorite games of all time. I've played through it several times, but I just couldn't get into Majora's Mask. We'll have to give it another go. Jeff, do you happen to have a Nintendo 3DS? Because if you do, the remastered port of both Ocarina and Majora's Mask on the 3DS, they're phenomenal and probably my favorite ways to replay those games. They are pretty awesome. Imagine if they released Legend of Zelda films in chronological order and then it branches off from Ocarina of Time. Could you imagine? And then we get the different timelines. There's so many possibilities, man. So many possibilities. So are we forting next month when Star Wars? Oh my God, we're doing another Star Wars month in Fortnite? Well, yeah, if that's the case, then we kind of have to, right? It's kind of tradition, I would say, right? That's tradition around these parts. If Star Wars is in Fortnite, then we get the boys together and we play some Fortnite. I actually dove back into Fortnite just over this past month. With the kids, they wanted to play the new season and get the Looney Tunes characters and stuff like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. They're all in there now. So I started playing again a bit with them, and it's cool. There's a bunch of changes. I hadn't played Fortnite in freaking ages. So yeah, I'm down, dude. Yeah, once that's happening, actually I got to stay on top of that so I know when it's all coming back together. Absolutely, yes. We are definitely getting the band back together. Yeah, before this past month, I hadn't played Fortnite in, geez, it had to have been, did I play Fortnite at all in 2025? I don't know. I played the Star Wars event, the last Star Wars event that happened, and then after that, I don't know if I played anymore. Yeah, but yeah, dude, keep me posted on that. We are definitely getting the band back together for that. You do have the 3DS and you have both Ocarina and Majora remasters. They are phenomenal. They really are, like, I think they are the best ways to play those games. And I hope Nintendo gives us those ports on the Switch and Switch 2, because they're just great. We don't need the 3D. It's just the cleaned up ports. They're just so nice. I replay Ocarina with Ship of Harkane in the upscale. I've been watching Sweet Tea Killer. Sweet Tea Killer, his channel, he's been playing that mod of Ocarina. I had never seen that mod before, and it looks awesome. But he's been streaming that lately, so it's pretty awesome. Maybe I'll give Majora's Mask another go on the 3DS. Yeah, yes. If you're gonna replay it on there. That's the way to do it. And you know what? You know what's great about that? It's handheld. So just play wherever. You know where I played most of the 3DS? Most of the time that I played the 3DS was just laying down in bed before going to sleep. I would play some of the 3DS. So there you go. You have tons of options with that. That's the way to go. You never heard of that mod? It's I don't know if anybody's got a link to that mod. But Sweet Tea Killer, he's been playing it over on his channel. It looks awesome, and there's really cool enhancements to the mod and all the different stuff you could do. So really, really fun way of playing it. I have my save files going on the original Ocarina of Time cartridge and Majora's Mask. I do have a couple of save states running on the Switch, because you could play the Nintendo 64 games on the Switch. And then obviously the 3DS, I have it on there. I'm just trying to think, what was I playing? What was the other way I was playing Ocarina of Time? I had the original, the Switch, and then obviously the Switch 2, the 3DS. I wasn't playing any mods of it. I might have had an emulator version of it at some point running, but I went back to the original cartridge not that long ago, because I set up the whole system over there with the CRT and everything so the kids could play all the retro games. And I got the N64 over there on the Tube TV, and I started replaying Ocarina the way I played it originally on that Tube TV and on the N64, and it was just loving it. Just absolutely loving it. Those games, it's so funny when you play those games on a newer monitor, and then you go back and play it the way it was designed to play on a CRT, and it looks better on the CRT than it does on the other thing. It's just so awesome. Yes, Sweet Tea Killer. Let me grab his link. Because he might be playing it. He might be playing it right now. He's been playing a bunch of it lately. He's had multiple streams going, but that's been his latest game. Great guy, great channel too. So I definitely want you guys to check him out. I have so many subscriptions. I just have to keep scrolling. He's live right now. He's playing X-Men Legends right now, but he's been playing the Legend of Zelda stuff. But here is Sweet Tea Killer's channel, if you guys want to check him out. His last bunch of live streams, he's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them posted lately. Nice long streams, so you get to see a whole lot of that Ocarina of Time mod. But he's quite literally, he's live right now playing X-Men Legends. And looks like he may have, I'm not sure if that's his wife with him right now, but they're playing X-Men Legends together right now. So guys, hit him up. Go stop by in his chat. Say, hey, Matt Cave's talking about you right now, playing that Legend of Zelda game. Go swing by, give him a sub. He's getting really close to 1,000 subs. He's at 791 right now. I'm going to throw a like on his stream right now as we speak. But super nice guy, plays tons of retro games, plays lots of different mods and everything to all kinds of games that are a bunch of our favorites. So yeah, guys, show him some love over there. Sweet Tea Killer's awesome, nicest guy, and plays tons of games that you're just it's gonna be your favorites like all the time. So, but definitely go hit him up over there and say hello. I got a stream running on this. I don't have the audio on, but I have a stream running on the side right now. So hey, I saw Alan and Ted head over there. Yo, Ted, good to see you, dude. Yeah, he's awesome. I love his channel. I love seeing channels like that grow and sharing all the fun games that we grew up with, especially these mods. It's amazing what fans are able to do with these games. I don't do a lot of stuff with mods, but the excuse me, the some of the mods that I have tried just kind of, they just blow me away. But seeing what people are capable of, it's incredible. But I never played a mod of Ocarina of Time. I have played reskinned versions of the original Legend of Zelda. So it's a lot of fun playing stuff like that. But I never really get too much into the modding stuff and everything. But I should probably play more of it because there's so many amazing mods that you can play. One mod I did try, though, I never streamed it. And I couldn't quite get it to run perfectly, but I played a mod of Resident Evil 2 Remake where it changed Mr. X into Thomas the Tank Engine. And it was just freaking hilarious. It was a lot of fun. It kept breaking the game, so I must have done something wrong with it, but he would come out and it would play the theme song of Thomas the Tank Engine. It's just this big train character chasing you. It was really, really funny. But yeah, it's pretty cool that you could see crazy stuff like that, right? Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. And speaking of Resident Evil, Ted just recently finished the original Resident Evil trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, and he's moving on to Resident Evil 1 Remake. And Ted, oh my god, dude, you have taken your first steps into a larger world. Resident Evil 1 Remake, as far as I'm concerned, is a masterpiece. And I think you're going to love it. I also think it's going to terrify you because Resident Evil 1 Remake is probably one of the scariest entries in that franchise. So it's gonna be awesome. Oh, you already started, got killed, and you're gonna need to adjust the controls and try again. Let's go, dude. I will be catching your replays. I will try to catch the lives as much as I possibly can, to be there with you on that journey. I'm so happy that you're playing all of that stuff. So super, super fun. Getting back to the world of Nintendo. There's so many different directions they can go with this. I don't know what the roadmap is going to be for these Nintendo films. Nintendo tends to keep a lot of stuff to themselves. They keep things secret. Very rare do they share their plans for things. And I would expect it to be no different when it comes to their stuff in these movies, right? They keep stuff so secret with video games. I don't think they would really let a game plan out of what they're doing with these movies. I think a lot of this stuff is going to be revealed when they want it to be revealed. Nintendo, as a company, absolutely hates when leaks happen. And Nintendo is not shy about getting lawsuits going and all kinds of stuff like that. So they hate leaks, and they just recently are dealing with the leak that apparently the remake of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is coming. Not only is it coming, but apparently it's arriving this year. I would imagine come like the end of the year, like holiday seasons, right? Apparently that got leaked, and Nintendo was absolutely pissed off. And I don't blame them. I mean, that's a massive thing. But the other thing that has yet to happen is because from what I'm understanding, this is a very real leak. But if it was up to me over at Nintendo and that happened, at that point, don't focus on being pissed off about it. Get your marketing team to go full tilt into marketing the crap out of that. Get the hype train going. Build it. Turn this into a positive. It's out there. It's already revealed. This thing you are working on in secret is revealed and it's coming. Okay, well, at that point, if it's already out there and the public knows, now get the hype train going in the direction you want it to go. Take full control of this and get everyone amped up and ready for this release. That's what I would do. If you have even a little bit of test footage, something to tease people with, go for it. Get the marketing team on this and promote the hell out of that remake, because that is a remake that fans have been begging for years. So I think they should go nuts with it. Brian says, so I may end up skipping my trip to Queensland and get a Switch 2 instead if they do the Ocarina remake. Apparently it's real. From what I'm understanding, that's a real thing that's coming, and Nintendo was wildly pissed off that that it got leaked that it's coming. Steve, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Is a Switch 2 as well worth it? Yeah, I like the Switch 2. I've been enjoying it very much so. It does everything I wanted it to do. I know so many people complain about it. They don't even call it a next-gen console, which in all honesty, I don't even think it is anyway. It's like having a portable PS4, like pretty much. I like it though. It enhances the Switch 1 games, speeds up the load times and all that stuff. I really enjoy it. It's an expensive console. It's all these things are so expensive. PlayStation just raised their prices on the PS5 consoles. Can you believe that? They're in talks already about when they're going to reveal the PS6, and they just raised the price of the PS5. The PS5, oh look, I love my PS5, but my God, that console generation, because it had such a rocky start with the launch, with all the problems with getting all the chips and everything out, and just the shortage of stock, and it had just a horrible launch. But to raise the price now is wild. And then the Nintendo stuff is just always expensive, and it just keeps getting more expensive. I heard there's a new bundle coming out for the Switch 2. I don't know what's being bundled with it, though. So keep an eye out for that. But you know, if they're going to do an Ocarina of Time remake, that has to be bundled into the console, right? For anyone who doesn't have the console, that in itself, I would imagine, would be a huge console seller. So do that bundle. It would just make perfect sense to do it. But I think that the Switch 2 is a good system. I like it a lot. I think it could have been more than it is. But I don't know, like, when I play Nintendo stuff and Nintendo systems, it's a different feel. Like, I don't go to Nintendo for the latest, most hyper-realistic graphics. I go for the experience of a Nintendo game. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's different. If I'm playing something on PC or the PS5, yeah, I'm looking for like crazy graphics for a lot of stuff, but I'm not a person that needs crazy graphics. Obviously, I'm a retro gamer, so I don't need the graphics to be crazy. But I go to Nintendo consoles for a different type of an experience, and I'm getting that experience with the Nintendo Switch 2. So for me, it worked out really well. And I do want to lean into the video game side of this a bit, because I have some other ideas of where all of this is going as well. Spidey Librarian, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. We're talking the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. I saw the new Mario movie over the weekend. I'm not spoiling anything for it. This is all spoiler free. Just talking about the directions we think some of this stuff will go. But speaking of that, out of all of this, the cinematic universe, right? We're taking these video game characters, we're putting them into the movies, and we're building stories, we're developing new adventures, we're bringing characters together, and we're creating an entire movie universe. From that, and this is just, I feel like this will happen, and I feel like it's inevitable. I think it will then come full circle, and then we're going to get the video game versions of what happens in the movies. I think this Nintendo Cinematic Universe is going to continue to grow, and eventually we're going to have a whole new world of stories put together in that version. Over here in the Cinematic Universe, we're going to get this whole new world for these characters, and then that new world of stories is going to make its way back into video games. And then things are going to continue from the movies in the video games that can then move into more things like TV shows and more movies. I think it's going to just come full circle and just be a crazy, crazy, wild experience. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I need to get another Switch, just the easiest thing to part with when things get tough. Yeah, the Switch I really like the Switch system, Switch 1 and the Switch 2. I enjoy both systems. They are, I think they're very convenient, and you can play so much on there, so it's a lot of fun. Akin to you, I never expect anything crazy out of Nintendo. I like the portability of the Switch family overall and the Nintendo exclusives. Although third-party this gen is great so far. Yeah, they've been doing a good job with the third-party stuff this time around, especially in the world of Resident Evil, so I'm totally hyped about all that. But it's, yeah, that's the thing. I go to Nintendo for just a very different experience versus when I play other systems. I'm still so angry at Nintendo. The you don't own Switch 2 that you bought. Yeah, contempt for customers, the bricking of the console if you do something they don't like. Yeah, all of that stuff, the ridiculous things these companies are doing, and it's not just Nintendo, it's others as well, but Nintendo was very vocal about things like this. Yeah, it's oh god, all this stuff with you have to be online and you don't own what you bought. It's such a mess in the world of video games. The video game industry right now it's a nightmare. You don't own what you bought. If you buy something digital, you don't own it. You don't own anything. You bought a temporary license to access something, and that something can be taken away from you at any moment. And it doesn't matter how much you spent on it. So it's I don't know. It's wild that I don't know. I mean, even these games like like Super Smash Brothers Melee, right? I have this on the GameCube. I don't need an internet connection to play this. I can play this entire game and have every character that was in this anytime I want to because I have it. I have it right here. It's right there. It's right there on the disc. It's all there. I even got the manual and everything. Really nice copy of this. This can't be taken away. But this could be taken away, even though I'm holding it right here. Smash Brothers Ultimate. Does it say on here? You have to be online for this, right? I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yeah. Online. So yeah, I do have a cartridge, right? But as far as Nintendo's concerned, I don't really own this. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's offline things you can do with this, but anything beyond that, you need online stuff. So it's such a crazy time right now for the world of video games. I have my share of digital copies of things, and look, don't get me wrong, like digital is convenient. It's wildly convenient for video games and movies and stuff like that. But what we gave away with that convenience was the actual ownership of what we bought, you know? Like it's so convenient to stream movies and be able to watch it at click of a button, right? It's very convenient. But I don't want that movie taken away from me because some company said, "Oh, now you're no longer allowed to have that," even though I paid for it. So that's why I go out and I buy movies that are older movies. Now, I'm sure I could stream it someplace, but I want to have I got it right next to me. Just for example, I just picked this up. Movie's incredibly old, but I was telling my son about it and I want to show him this movie, and he has no idea what happens in this movie, so I'm keeping that a secret. But I just arrived today from Dusk Till Dawn on Blu-ray. Hard copy. This can't be taken away from me. I'm sure this is streaming someplace, and we could have just went to whatever streaming service and watched the movie, but I'm like, no, just wait. I'm going to buy a copy of the movie, and then we'll watch it together on the Blu-ray, right? But this will not be taken away. But if I go to the streaming stuff that I'm paying for, even if I buy a digital copy of the movie, that digital copy, even though I paid full price for it, That could be taken away. But anyways, I can't wait for my son to see this. He has no idea, and I'm not going to say anything right now. He has no idea what happens in this movie. No idea. I can't wait to see his jaw drop when the switch flips in this movie and it becomes what it actually is. He's going to lose his mind. He's going to lose his mind. But yeah, the video game industry right now and the movie industry, it's just wild. The whole idea of you don't own what you bought. Hopefully that dies out sooner rather than later. It can't be sustained. If people are just fed up, they don't want things to be that way. That's why I will never get anything digital. I will find other physical copies by other means. Exactly. I mean, I posted a poll the other day on the channel. It's still up. You know, if you didn't vote on it, you could certainly cast your vote and share your comments. You know, I talked about, you know, saying like, you know, I've never promoted nor condoned pirating things, you know, stealing movies. I don't even know how to phrase it, but I've never condoned any of that, right? Of pirating movies and video games. But specifically in the world of video games, right? It's really hard to be on that side of the fence these days because of what the industry has done with it, right? So it comes down to what was that phrase? If buying does not equal owning, then does piracy equal stealing? When it comes to specifically the world of video games, I'm like, if the game's not available to purchase, I will purchase these games, and so many other people will too. If you make it available for retail, like just let us pay you for it and own it. The buyers are there. They're just, these companies don't want to do it. They want full control over it. And that's why they all leaned into the digital side of it and the streaming side of it. So that's where it becomes really, really tricky. And I can't get behind, I can't get behind not owning something that I paid full price for. Like, here's the other thing too. Like, if things were equally split, if it was like, here, everything is either physical or digital, right? Because there's pros and cons to both. Here's what you do. You make both available, right? But physical, and I'm for this. Look, I would think this is perfectly fair. Physical should be more expensive than digital. Because it's physical. Something was manufactured. Something was created. Something is tangible that you are buying and holding. And the work went into making that product for you to then have. Have it both ways. Make the physical more expensive because it's physical. Still have the digital, but make it cheaper. The fact that you'll put a movie out or a game, just talk games, okay? Why the hell is a digital video game $70 for the base edition of a digital game? $70. Normal price, 70 regular, just for a digital product that could be taken away from you at any point, right? Make the physical version be the $70 thing. Make the digital $50, right? Something. Or like, here you go, 30 digital, 60 physical, right? Yeah, make it like just double the price for physical. Okay. I think that's fair. And I would pay it. It's like, hey, if you want the physical version, which is a true physical version, that you buy it, you own it, that's your copy, and nothing turns off on it, whatever, that's your physical copy. It costs more because it had to be manufactured. Okay, great. If that's my choice as the consumer, that's what I'm choosing to spend my money on. But then there's the other side where some people just want the convenience of the digital. And I get it. Listen, again, there's pros and cons to both sides, right? My physical copy of something can break, right? It's not being taken away from me. Maybe I didn't treat it well and it broke or something, right? You know, there's pros and cons to both sides. But the fact that a digital version of anything, a video game, a movie, a TV show, whatever, costs the same as the physical, that never has and never will make sense to me. So they could make so much money from both sides of it. Have their cake and eat it too. They can do that. Physical and digital. Keep them both around. You have customers for both. But I don't know. It's just these companies, these corporations, these businesses, they just, oh my God, it's all run by stupidity and greed. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm seeing chats come flying in. Let me scroll back up here and catch what I missed. I do like that you only have to buy DLC once. I got the expansion for Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and it carried over to the Switch copy. Yes, stuff like that when it carries over, or you get like the free upgrade to the new version and stuff like that. I do like that stuff. Yeah, but even most of the Switch 2 physical games are just key codes in a physical cartridge looking thing. Yeah, exactly. But this is what, that came down to cost of manufacturing costs, right? But this is the thing. If you make, because they can make cartridges hold more storage space, obviously. They just don't. It costs more to do it. So that's why they stuck with just the 64 gig carts. And lots of these games are bigger than that. But put the money into the ones that are going to take up more space and put them on a true physical cartridge and charge more for it. Because it's manufactured. And the consumer will understand that. And it's up to the consumer to make their choice of which version of the game they want to buy. And I promise, there will be buyers on both sides, and plenty of them. So they could win. They could definitely win. But they're not going to do it. Most stream movies can be edited. Isn't that wild? I mean, was it Game of Thrones? Where there was a coffee cup in the shot? It was a Starbucks cup or something like that, and they edited it out for later. You know, there's like, they just, no, don't make changes. The movies are what they are, the shows are what they are. From Dusk Till Dawn, that bar scene is freaking insane. Dude, I can't wait till my son sees that movie. His jaw is gonna drop to the floor. I swear, he has no idea what he's about to experience. He has no idea. And I love that because that's how I saw that movie. I rented that movie when it first came out. I knew nothing about it. And you watch that first half of the movie and you're like, wow, it's this kind of movie. And then that switch flips and it's a totally different kind of movie. And man, it was incredible. I can't wait for him to see it. It's going to be awesome. Love From Dusk Till Dawn. It's such a great movie. It's so good. That's why I don't pay more than $5 on average for a digital movie. I wait for sales and stuff. Yes, I for all that stuff too. I wait for like crazy sales for that stuff to come out. Watch it when Semi comes out on screen. I know, right? It's gonna. Oh boy, I can't wait. If buying isn't ownership, piracy isn't possible. Yeah, it's insane. It's just wild that stuff could be taken away like that. It's crazy. Access versus the artifact. I mean, that's all we're paying for now is access. We're not paying for a product. We're paying for access to see something, and it's or to interact with something, and it's just it's crazy. Hell, Nintendo's been caught using ROMs on subscription service. They use ROMs on their Nintendo Online services on the Switch. All those are ROMs. So, and then they even have modded ROMs on there. They call them the special editions of things. So you could fire up Legend of Zelda for the NES, but start with the blue ring and the white sword and full money and a whole bunch of bombs right off the bat. So yeah, they're already, not only are Nintendo using ROMs, they're using modded ROMs. So it's kind of funny. It screws digital copies over because they don't renew the license and it has to be taken down. Well, that's the thing too. You get all these different licenses that happening. So I remember early on Netflix days. I'm talking about when Netflix was still mailing you the movies and the TV shows, the discs. And I did that a bunch. I got stuff rotating in and out. So I was getting one of the first things I ever got from Netflix was the show Quantum Leap, one of my favorite shows of all time. Scott Bakula, awesome, one of my favorite actors of all time. Quantum Leap, love that show. they had the show and they could mail you the DVDs. I was like, oh, this is awesome. They skipped sending a couple of the discs because they didn't have them, or they couldn't send them because certain episodes had actors in it as guest stars that they didn't have the license for to be able to show it and share it. So they literally skipped sending me episodes on certain discs, because those episodes had guest stars that they didn't have. Whatever licensing stopped them from being able to distribute it. So it was such a weird experience, but I'm like, man, that was wild. That's just insane. Yes, vinyl is, I see vinyl in stores like Target. Like, it's insane. Like, and brand new albums. It's crazy. Stuff's making a comeback. Cassette tapes are coming back. Oh man, everything is starting to make their way back. Some Switch 2 games fully on cart are $10 more than other carts. Like Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, I don't mind paying $10 for the physical copy as it's all on the cart. Yeah, and I have the physical copy of that. So yeah, these games, there's plenty of games that are coming out still on those cartridges that fit on there perfectly fine. 64 gigs is a lot of space. So yeah, there's plenty, and you can get those things on sale and everything. And yeah, there's definitely ways of going about it. They hate us. They love our money. Yeah, and that's the way these businesses are. That's why the Super Nintendo N64 prices were so all over the place. There were, geez, back in the day, I mean, there were Super Nintendo games that came out that were like 70 to 80 bucks. You know, like expensive video games are not new. Is this a real question? Quantum Leap? What's that? Wait, no way. You got, you're pulling my leg, aren't you? WKRP in Cincinnati had all the music stripped and replaced when it was rebroadcast and issued on DVD. That's insane. You're slowly building your vinyl collection, pricey but worth it. Vinyl sounds great. When you have a nice turntable and you have a nice setup, a nice amplifier on it, and some good speakers, oh my God, the analog sound of it, just vinyl has this pure sound. It's just, oh my God. So I used to work for a custom home theater company, and we had an entire section dedicated just like audiophile stuff, right? And we would have amazing amplifiers, amazing setups with just 2-channel setups and everything, with every type of speaker you could imagine, with different types of parts, different, like, yeah, the ribbon tweeters, and you had different bass levels and everything. It's just like, it was just wild, the different setups. And I learned the importance of measuring out and spacing out your speakers, having them at the proper angles for the prime listening experience of where you're going to be seated, your main seat, where you're going to be listening from, to basically create the best listening experience. And listening to some of these albums, you would swear you were sitting there in the crowd for a live concert, and that singer was right there in front of you. And you don't get that same essence in the sound. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just such a different experience over digital. Like the compression on digital, like, really makes a big difference. And yes, again, convenience and all the stuff. Like when MP3s came out, that was wild, insane. But man, when you get that stuff in its purest form, it's such a great experience. It's such a great experience. No, it's not a real question. Oh yeah, that's right. You were on the panel with that. Okay, I'm seeing. Look at me. That's okay. That's my boomer moment, everybody. That's my boomer moment of the night. He's getting old. I can't keep track of everything. You know what it is? I filled up the hard drive, and now I think my system up here is like auto deleting information. My brain, I guess, is deciding what it doesn't need, and it's just auto deleting stuff. I still catch some things every once in a while in the recycle bin, and I can restore it, but for the most part, I'm just kind of losing my mind over the years. Yo, Scotty, what's up, dude? Dude, are you still live? Are you still playing Marathon right now?
Come on, let's look.
Love it. Vinyl and my big over-the-ear DJ headphones. Let's go, dude. It's awesome. Man, I miss those days. Just that was one of my favorite jobs ever. It was just, getting to test out all these systems and being able to man, just experience this stuff with not just me and my crew, but with the customers. Wow. And it was just so much fun. And that's why I have a lot of the stuff I have in my setup over here. Eventually, I got to do some video of what I have over here. It's nothing crazy, but it works great for me. And I love the sound of all this stuff. But it just made me appreciate just everything that goes into making all this stuff work, and the benefits of setting it up properly, and just literally hearing and seeing the difference of the experience with these things. It's like, okay, like going back to the story I told earlier in the stream when I went to the movies this weekend and saw Super Mario Galaxy movie. Their sound system was broken in that theater room, and I went and I told the people working there, I said, hey, you guys got to fix this. Your speakers are out. There's literally like no sound coming from these. We only have center channel. And my wife at the start, she's like, I don't even hear the problem. I'm like, you don't hear that? And she laughs at me. She's like, the things you experience, it's so weird. But I do. Once they fixed it, she leaned over to me and she's like, oh, I hear the difference now. I'm like, yeah, now we have a soundtrack happening and we have music and action and everything. It was like we're sitting there in the movies and all you hear is voice. I'm like, we have nothing else working. It's like somebody turned off the amplifier in the back room. But anyways, it's stuff like that. When you start to experience what makes all this stuff work, you start to appreciate how it got there and why it works the way it works and why it sounds different, why it looks different, all these different things. And then, I don't know, call me spoiled or just I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I notice things that my wife doesn't notice and I point it out and she laughs at me. She's like, why do you pay attention to that stuff? I'm like, I can't help it. It's like ingrained in me now. But, I see and hear this stuff in our video games that come out. When there's any glitches or something like that in the sound and I catch it, I'm like, oh man, they got to fix that, stuff like that. But I don't know. I just want good experiences with these things. That's what it comes down to. My old man still has the family system from the 70s and it still works, and I bet it sounds freaking awesome. So that's the thing too. That stuff was made to last. Hardcore extractions, I think I have a new catchphrase. I play hard games, so you don't have to. I love it, dude. I love it, dude. Scotty's playing the games that like are absolutely insane investments to get into. That other game you were playing, Scotty, the Crimson Desert, that looks insane. Like, I keep looking at it and I'm like, should I get this? I'm like, I don't even know when I would get the chance to even play it, because that's a game like you really have to invest time into it, but it just looks so good. It looks like so much fun. I miss playing games like that where you're just completely engulfed in this long story and everything, and the challenges. I just finding the time to play these games. It's crazy. When I watch movies and I'm like, oh my God, did you see that? That was one shot from the camera perspective. I do that all the time. I point that out. My wife is just like, okay. I'm like, yeah, it was all one shot. I love when they pull off a single shot scene, like in Creed, when he challenges that other boxer when he's in the gym. And he's just, he's talking shit and everything. And then he puts up his car as like collateral or whatever and stuff. And goes into that fight. That fight is a single shot. And then I think again in the actual main event fight of the movie, I think round 1 is a single shot. And just when movies and shows pull off that stuff, it's just so great. I appreciate it so much. You need more Tarkov? Yes, Scotty introduced Tarkov to me. That game is insane. It's like 1,000 hours of gameplay for sure, Crimson Desert. Yeah. Man. It looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. I would love to get into it. I just don't know. Maybe when it goes on sale, maybe I'll pick it up, but I don't know when that'll ever be. At one time, many years ago, I had a custom stereo and cabinet made in Okinawa. Nice. That was the other thing too. Housing your equipment properly is key also. Making sure that heat can ventilate very properly, make airflow moving well. You want to keep these things, I see so many people just lock up their equipment and receivers and amplifiers and stuff into a cabinet and close the doors and seal it all up. And then they wonder why it died. It's like, well, it melted in there. These things are trying to get airflow and everything. And people just destroy their equipment when they lock it into a big wooden cabinet. Yeah, it's crazy. Handmade with 8-track turntable and reel-to-reel. I don't have a reel-to-reel. I would love to have one, though. My father has a bunch of reels, and I have no way of playing them. Somewhere along the way, I may come across one or something. What I want to do at some point is I want to try to find time to head out and look for like garage sales and possibly estate sales and see if I can come across some really like fun, nostalgic stuff, that we could talk about and have that equipment and test it out. I think that would be a lot of fun. Got to get ready for the stream. Your April box arrived. Awesome. I think mine is probably going to show up tomorrow. I'm thinking that'll be in the mail tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Yeah, because we have an upcoming Video Games Monthly, everybody. We're in April of 2026 already. So we have VGM coming very, very soon. And then I'm really curious if we're going to have anything Mario themed in there. So we'll see what we end up getting. But dude, have a good stream, man. I will catch it when it's posted and everything, dude. Actually, I wonder if I don't think I have the Wii set on my list, but I wonder if they're sending out copies of Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. That would be pretty cool. I do have the on the Switch, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars cartridge, and it has Mario Galaxy on there. And then just recently they ported over Mario Galaxy 2 onto the Switch too. So that's pretty awesome. I like these games. Mario Galaxy, I never beat it. So I'm working my way through it now. I started playing it again, and I do want to beat that game. I don't know if that's a game that you guys would even want me to stream. Would you guys have fun if we play Super Mario Galaxy together on stream? I know it's a crazy 3D Mario game, kind of crazy with the cameras and stuff like that, but we could potentially have some fun with that, potentially. But I don't know, you guys let me know if that's something that you guys would want to do. I think that could be pretty cool. Super Mario Galaxy is a lot of fun. You know which another one? And the guys that look, oh boy, I may get some heat for this. You know what other Mario game I never beat? Woohoo, get ready. Oh my god. People are going to be like, what? You call yourself a gamer? I'm going to unsub. I never beat Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64. Not even close. I never even came close to beating that game. So that's another one that's on my list of games that I have to beat. Like, it's just like, this is a long time coming, and I have to do it. So, yeah, maybe we have some upcoming Super Mario streams where the mission is beat the game, because I never did. It's funny you're playing through Super Mario Galaxy. I'm doing the same now on the Switch too. I'm liking it so far. Definitely some good levels throughout. Yeah, it's a really cool game, and it's a really gorgeous game too. It's a lot of fun. I like that one a lot. So many Mario games you haven't beaten. Mario 64 made me dizzy. Look up how to play Mario 64 with Unreal Engine? What? Oh my god. You know what? That doesn't surprise me. We were just talking about like crazy mods for games. I bet there's a really good looking mod for that. But I would play the actual one on there. If anything, if not the original cartridge, I would at least play it on the Switch where I can use the save states, because that'll help progress through the game and everything. Actually, I don't even does Mario 64 let you save? Right? Yeah, it definitely lets you save. Yo! Dude! Let's freaking go. Scotty Hawk becoming a 64-bit member. Let's freaking go, dude. Oh, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Guys, hey, we got multiple membership levels that are out there for everybody. Anything you want to choose from, however you want to join the cave dwellers. You are more than welcome to join in. We've got I'm trying to build more and more perks for this, so that every level has, some really, really good stuff on there. I really want to put more time into it as much as I possibly can. But thank you, dude. I appreciate that, Scotty. Very much appreciated. But we've got, all kinds of stuff, all different ways to help support the channel. Obviously, the biggest ways is just being here, watching the videos, being here for the streams, subscribing, hitting that like button. Be sure to hit that like button on this stream here, especially for the sake of the replay. And then we have all the extra stuff where it's memberships, super chats. We have merch. You can get stuff like this. This is one of our shirts in the merch shop. I love this one. Yo, Ted, 33 months. True great in that cave gaming, true greatness. Let's go, dude. I appreciate it, man. 33 months, 16-bit member. I love it. I never beat Mario 64 either. When Star Wars Shadows of the Empire came out, I was fully engrossed with that for the longest time and never went back to Mario 64. That's understandable. Shadows of the Empire is freaking awesome. I love that game. But yeah, we got, thank you for putting the link there. Yeah, we got a bunch of shirts and everything out there and, all different kind of designs that I made on there. So some fun stuff. This is one of my favorites. I like this one because I just feel this in my soul. We all did that. We all played that game, especially on the NES, where you swear, you hit that jump button and that character did not jump. And we probably all said some of the most vulgar things we've ever said in our lives while playing those games. My memory's so broken from seizures, I forget a lot of the games I've beaten. Hey, but you know what? Look at it this way. You get to relive them as if it's the first time all over again. That's actually kind of a cool thing at that point. There's so many games I have that have ended up on the backlog where I'm like, I know I started them, but it's been so long where I'm like, I have to start over because I don't even remember what the heck was going on, especially if it's a story-driven game in any way, shape, or form. If I put that game down and don't come back to it for a couple of months, I'm like, I don't know where I left off. I don't remember how to play it. So I just start over from the beginning. And there have been so many games that I have restarted from the beginning multiple times because it just kept being so long in between my playthroughs. So it's crazy. Vagrant Story is already catching you by surprise. You're only 3% in. I never played that game. I got to watch a replay of that too. I never played that on the PS1. I got to check that out. I know it's a JRPG, so that, I didn't play a lot of JRPGs growing up with the PS1, but, ever since finally getting into the world of Final Fantasy, I started dipping my toe into the waters, with that stuff and checking out those games because it turns out they're pretty damn amazing. But, man, we're in a, even though there's a lot of stuff to be upset about in the gaming industry right now, with this right here, Super Mario Galaxy movie, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe getting a huge boost. We're gaining momentum with it, and we're heading into a territory that honestly it feels like a dream starting to come true. I would have loved to have had this stuff when I was a kid, but at least now I get to experience the stuff with my own kids. And I think we're going to get some really amazing stuff from Nintendo, from Illumination. And then I don't know if they're going to be teaming up with any other film companies. Actually, I don't know who's putting out the Legend of Zelda movie. I got to look that up. I don't know who they're partnering with for that. But Nintendo is going to be staying on top of all of these from start to finish to make sure that everything is handled properly. These are their characters. These are their babies. Nintendo's going to make sure that they are handled with care and they're handled right because they learned their lesson back in 1993 with the live action Super Mario Brothers movie. Nintendo learned their lesson. It took them a couple of decades before they were willing to trust again. But here we are. We're at the beginning of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. I'm here for it. I hope you're here for it. And I want to see nothing but good things from this. I want it to do well. I want it to be a success. Because if this works out, that only means we're going to get more video game movies from other companies, maybe like Sega and Sony. And, you know, we're going to see other stuff coming. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome. I think we're heading in a good direction here. So I'm all for it. Guys, we are going to wrap up here for the night. I greatly appreciate all of you being here. To all of our members, all of our new subscribers, everybody, thank you so much for all of your support that you give to this channel all the time. It's incredible. I can't do this without you guys. I have so much fun doing this. We got our sound bits going on. I have so much fun doing this every week with you guys. We are back on Thursday night to continue our adventure through Tomb Raider, the 2013 remake, and see what's going on with Lara Croft over there. So I will see you guys on Thursday, and until next time, everybody, remember, keep retro gaming alive, because one day your games will be retro too. Guys, after the fact, let me know down in the comments which Nintendo characters do you want to see next in the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. I'll see you guys down in the comments.
Oh, welcome to the Mac Cave, where the old games never fade. Stack of gray cards, glowing CRT. Welcome to the Mac Cave, heartbeats in 8-bit waves. You can plug in, you can still play free. Keep the pixels bright, pass the pad tonight. Every level cleared keeps the legends alive. If the future's light.